and we should be starting by 10:30.
Yes, everybody can meet Bobby or transfer to dinner, please.
There's some misunderstanding.
Yes.
What about the Korean?
Exactly. They tell us people are victory of love. But we change it for us.
Yesterday you told me
Because that's is what's happening. That is what the information that we got from the Korean people.
Rich is here. I think you did an event for the Rich also, Ace Insurance.
Yes, he did. She did.
Yeah.
Then
Ah, Naresh.
that Colombo,
Oh, yes, Captain Naresh.
Captain Naresh is here.
Oh, it's so nice.
He only told me that he took this in. Well, no.
Please.
Check this one too. Ladies and gentlemen, namaskar, swagatam, suswagatam, kincho, kasakar, welcome to the day 2 of FSM 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of noise? Little bit of Thodi taaliyan to all our celebrity people here. All right. Well, firstly, let me brief you up about the agenda for today. Well, we have had to stop at 5 p.m. because we don't want to be late for the dinner. That is going to be at 7 p.m. Okay. Second thing, coaches will leave at 6 p.m. Okay, from the venue, and meeting Bhavik is a must because he will be one who will be transferring you to the dinner place. So if any doubt in this agenda, please, you can ask us at the later part here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, a very good morning to everybody. After the agenda, are you all ready to start the sessions? Okay, only that side is saying ready. Are we all ready? Okay. So right at the start, let's do a little warm up. Okay, right at the start, let's do a little warm up. Can we see everybody's hands up? Everybody. Okay? Okay. All I want you to do is create a little rain over here. Okay? It should be the sound of the rain. Okay, I won't be saying anything on the mic. The gestures will be next. Here we go. Let's do this. Very nice. Yeah, time to warm up, okay? Single finger. One single finger. Well, that was just a warm up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all set for this amazing, beautiful morning and the sessions attached to it. So I guess yesterday was a very energetic day, inspiring day. I don't know. I have no clue. But actually, I'm replacing Delhi's your actual anchor over here. She's her voice is gone, and that's why I'm replacing her. So that is the first thing I want to tell you. Of course, I cannot do as much as her because she is very outstanding. But ladies and gentlemen, from yesterday, but today, then we take it should be a very memorable and an inspiring day, better than yesterday. All right, are we ready for it? Okay, I guess he has given me both thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, our first video that we are going to play, it's going to be the throwback of the morning session. What was the first thing you all did in the morning today? The beach, right? All right. How many of you really went samundar mein naha ke? Okay. So those who have missed the fun, we here have a video that is going to be played for you to have the glimpses of this amazing morning session that we did. So can we have the video, please? Wow, yeah. Let's put our hands together for everybody. Superb. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today also promises to be a crisp, engaging, and building momentum as we look forward to our grand celebratory dinner this evening at FSM 5.0. Ladies and gentlemen, before we actually move ahead, I have a very special announcements here to make. Today on the 8th of March, we celebrate Women's Day. So happy Women's Day to everybody here, all the women. Ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate International Women's Day, a day dedicated to honoring the incredible contributions and achievements of women everywhere. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring in that person on stage who makes a lot of impact for today. Can we all put our hands together and welcome Mr. Shaukat on stage? Sir, please on stage. Yeah.
I'll call them, don't worry. I'll call them.
Okay, done. So over to you, sir, for the next.
Okay. I think her voice was. Am I being audible right at the end, George sir? It's okay the way I speak. Okay. So happy Women's Day, wonderful women all around. We are talking about alternate fuels. We are talking about methane, hydrogen, propane, all kinds of fuels. I think the only alternate fuel to our economy is women. And going forward, and this makes the family run. This makes the economy run. This makes the whole world run. I'm so happy that we have such wonderful ladies on this. I will not do enough justice if I don't call each one of you on stage for celebrating Women's Day. We have a small present, small gift for each one of you. Can I have all the lovely ladies here on stage to celebrate Happy Women's Day, please? All of you, each one of you, please. And I'm going to call the ladies' man, Captain Tushar Pradhan, to give out the mementos to all the ladies. Sir, anyway, your wife is not here in the conference, so and we'll make sure this video doesn't reach your wife. Okay, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to all the wonderful women, each one of you, all the ladies, all the girls. Happy Women's Day. And this is a small token of appreciation from TNC and FSM to honor your presence in our lives. Why? I want to call our backstage, all the ladies also. Please, please. Women means all women, okay? Anjali, all of you, please, on stage. Dear ladies, our gratefulness for all of you. Thanks to Captain Tushar Pradhan, sir. Sir, I want to give one for ma'am. I'm missing her. This is for my behalf to ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to do that.
And then we'll send her the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today in the morning something happened I need to share with all of you. It's a very unique story. I got a knock on the door, and there was a gift. There was a big parcel. Guys, can I have your attention? This is one story you don't want to miss. This is one story you don't want to miss. I had a knock on the door, and I opened the door. There was somebody, the housekeeping, with a big parcel, with a ribbon parcel, and I opened it. It was from Dili's husband. And that parcel said, "What did you do? My wife has stopped talking." She said, "I'm going to have a good day." No, Dilis, thank you. Sorry. Anyway, so again, ladies and gentlemen, today I hand over to Preeti, and we are going to have a big session tonight. Today, it's going to be a long day. We're going to do lots and lots of stuff, lots of panel discussion, very motivating learnings, and we're going to give another award today also, the Sagar Ratna Award, which two of them been given out by the Honorable Chief Minister yesterday. And we have a hard stop. We always start in time, finish in time. Whatever it is, we will finish at the designated time at 5 o'clock. And we have to have the coaches that will be ready, the air-conditioned luxury buses will be ready. Please be there. And we are going to make the trip afterwards. So, Preeti, all yours. We can start with the first presentation. I will request earnestly for all the speakers, panelists, please keep your timings as per the schedule, right? So that we can stay according to our schedule. Thanks, Preeti.
Thank you so much, Shaukat sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we start. We transition to our next session. I'd like to share a brief update on a cornerstone of maritime training, the IMAC cadet program in India. It's truly inspiring to see cadets from HIMT, TS Rahman, and CSL METI present here today, reflecting the incredible momentum of our industry's investment in future talent. Now we move on to our presentation titled Status Update on IMAC's Continued Investment in India. This session will provide insights into how IMAX is furthering its commitment to nurturing skilled professionals in our country. I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Rob Gale from IMAC. Mr. Gale is a distinguished leader at IMAC, known for his strategic vision and dedication to enhancing maritime training and education. His efforts have been instrumental in expanding IMAC's initiatives in India, ensuring that our cadet programs remaining at the cutting edge of global standards. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Rob Gale on stage.
Good morning, everyone. I first want to say a big thank you to Captain Shukat for putting this event together. I was here in 2023. I was here in 2024. And in March, at the time, in 2023, IMEC did not have a cadet program in India. So hopefully today I can give you guys a bit more of an update on the words that we spoke in 2023 and the actions that we've done every year since. Happy, obviously, International Women's Day to everyone. Cadets, dignitaries, delegates, let's get going. For those that are unaware what IMEC is, we are a not-for-profit, non-governmental membership organization. Primarily, we work in two different ways. The CEO, Francesco Gargiulo, works on industrial relations, negotiations with the world's maritime unions, with the International Transport Workers Federation. And from the negotiations that are conducted, training elements, training initiatives, and training programs are created. And that's where I come in. As head of training, it's my job globally to ensure that we create sustainable training programs for the maritime industry. As I said, not for profit. We focus on our members' needs. One of the primary needs of industry is more seafarers. A lot of you will be aware of the 2021 DNV report, which highlighted that in the next few years, there'll be a shortage of approximately 700,000 seafarers. And so one of the main tasks for me to do is to provide our membership, ship owners, operators, and crewing managers with more seafarers. And that's why 2 years ago, we embarked on a cadet training program in India. When I talk about creating sustainable training programs, what I mean is our membership will request a number of cadets that they would like every single year, and we will recruit and allocate that exact number of cadets, no more, no less. We are only providing cadets for all of our training programs endorsed to a member from day one. Okay, that's really important to remember. We have a history of excellence in maritime training. We only have a 2-year program in India, but in the Philippines, we've now been doing this for 17 years. I'm talking about 2,000 graduates. Currently in our school in MARP this week, every week, there is approximately 1,000 active cadets in school studying. We know how to train, we know how to manage cadet training programs, and that's what I'm trying to establish here in India. And we'll talk a little more about some of the value added that we're doing here as well. The last point, but absolutely not the least point, is we encourage diversity in maritime. Every cadet program we have in each country is above the standard, the minimum standard of percentage of women actually active as cadets. What do I mean by that? In South Africa, we have a cadet program where we currently have 51 cadets. 55% of them are women. In India, that figure is approximately 6 to 8% and is growing, hopefully, with the new recruitment we do this year. In the Philippines, currently, they are interviewing for allocation to our membership. We're hoping for between 6 to 10% for women involved. And I think that figure will continue to grow. I think it's fantastic. For those that want to know a bit more about our membership, I've placed a few of the ship owners and ship operators that we actually have within our group. They are from 44 different countries around the world. And I think you will see that they're some of the largest and also family-owned organizations in the industry. What we're trying to create within IMEC is a family, from the seafarers to the owners, to the operators, to the crewing managers. What we like to do is to create connections, open doors, and bring people together. We think that's the best model for success. So just a slide to give you some understanding of some of our membership. Now, I know, and please be patient, there is a lot of information on this slide, but I'll go through it bit by bit. I said earlier to you that we started the discussions on a cadet training program in 2023. This is the journey from words to actions that we now find ourselves in. So in 2023, in March, when we came to FSM, we then also went to visit 5 maritime training institutes. From that, we selected 3. We established an MOU with FOSMA and MASA for the cadet training program here. Then fast forward, actually, before I carry on, we recruited in 2023 41 cadets, 25 deck, 25 engine, 2 women at a percentage approximately of 4.9%. In 2024, we did the same thing. We attended the MTIs. We had an organized open days where we had 10th and 12th grade students and also mechanical engineering students preparing for a maritime career attend our MTIs, and we spoke to them about IMEC, and we brought our members to those events, which was fantastic. We launched an advertising campaign last year. For those that were here, we had a video which we showed. We've been trying to grow the understanding of what IMEC represents, and I think now we're getting to a very good place. We attended Nautica last year, and myself and Gary, who's in the crowd, I've never seen something so passionate and wonderful. an environment where all the cadets can meet. They don't have to pay any money towards the costs of the event, and they compete in sports, competency, and many different things. And the passion and the fun and the excitement really was amazing, which was incredible to actually attend. Moving to the statistics, because I know people in the audience love statistics. We recruited 74 cadets last year, 34 deck, 40 engine. For women, approximately 5.4%. But we're in 2025 now. So where are we going? We confirmed and approved in October last year with the Recruitment and Training Committee. This committee decides all of our actions and is made up of IMEC members from the industry. We agreed to take 100 cadets this year, 50 deck and 50 engine. We're hoping that we can continue to grow diversity by having more women involved in the program. We continue to invest in value-added training, and I have a slide on that later. As we're growing, I've needed to increase our resources in our IMEC UK office. We currently now have 9 people in our UK office, only 9. Gary is here to assist more with the administration of the program, the allocation interviews, the selection, the ISF testing that we do for every single cadet, competency, psychological. It actually takes a lot of time and energy to manage these activities. And so we're growing our own workforce so that we can grow the Indian workforce. We'll continue to grow the IMEC brand across India. This is why we commit to attending these events. We're also conducting surveys and feedback loops, not only with the cadets, but even the MTIs to feed back to us on how we can continually improve. We've only been here for 2 years. We're learning as much as we can, and we learn every single day, but there's still more that we can do to make this program better. So perhaps some of you are asking, okay, you're from the UK, you're involved, you manage the cadet program. What does that actually mean? Well, we manage the overall program. We manage the recruitment process all the way from application to the first day that they join in those MTIs. We monitor excellence. In the last 10 days, I've been visiting each one of our partner MTIs and conducting an audit to make sure that what they say they're going to do for our cadets, they actually do. So we hold that accountability for them. We provide continued support. We give our cadets and we give our IMEC seafarers an opportunity to always have a voice. That's through feedback. Every single cadet has my mobile number. Every cadet has Gary's mobile number. If they need to contact me with any issues, not about how the speed of their internet is in the MTI, but if there's something serious that they have, they can contact me anytime and we'll do our best to resolve that. Last but not least, IMEC is investing its own money and with some of our partners that are supporting in providing additional value-added training for those cadets. What we want to do is we want to let the MTIs conduct the SDCW and the curriculum training, but we want to help in preparing them for the international market. That's the job that we want to do with IMEC. We want to prepare our cadets around the world for going on international vessels, because that's where the shortage really lies. I talked about some of the partners that we have as part of this program, and I just wanted to put it on the screen to highlight to you all of those local and also international organizations that are part of this program. IMEC on day one did not come and tell you how to run your own program. We wanted to learn from all of you about how things work in India and hopefully provide you with some advice and guidance on how we do things in other countries. So a big thank you, of course, to our organizations that help us with that. You'll see one in the bottom right-hand corner called Wavelink Maritime. I'm sure some of you in the room will know who they are. That's a Singapore-based maritime training center. We've joined up with them and are collaborating with them in providing our cadets with 2 weeks of pre-shipboard training where we fly the training instructors to India and we take all of those cadets and we put them in one of our MTIs and we provide them with a number of different types of training. And this is what we provide. Thank you to MASA for providing 2 days of online soft skills training, which covers the shore-to ship transition, handling stress and change, and many other different things. And then also the Wavelink 10-day training, which looks at maritime communication, risk root cause analysis, critical thinking, all of the important ingredients that perhaps are not always covered in the curriculum, which rounds out those cadets when they go on board. So they're absolutely prepared to maximize their time because their time is so short as a cadet. This is one of the last slides I wanted to share with everyone. Hopefully you can see on the screen that we already have maybe 8 or 9 members within the India program. But this year, I just wanted to highlight that we've recently had confirmed that Burner Shelter Ship Management will be collecting approximately over 150 cadets with the IMEC program over the next 2 years. Now, I said earlier, yes. I said earlier that this year we're looking to recruit 100. So that means to me, and it means to all of you, that we need to expand the program next year. So in May, at the next recruitment and training committee, we'll have that discussion. We'll show them the statistics. We'll give them the report, and then they can make the decision. The industry can make the decision on how we continue to operate in India. But I think what we're trying to show you is that we're signaling our intent on where we believe the Indian seafarers should be. I can come up here, I can try and sell the cadet program. I'm not a salesman, it's not my job to do that. I'm focusing on training. But there's no better people to share with you what we're doing than the IMEC cadets. So what I'm going to do, and this is going to be hopefully fun, interesting, we're going to try and be a bit unscripted. So I'm going to invite, I have not prepared them. I've asked them to only speak from the heart, but I'd like to invite all IMEC cadets, if they can come onto the stage, please. Yeah, please. Now, we have three microphones on the stage, and we have a few microphones in the crowd. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let them speak. They can talk about anything they want. I've told them not to just say nice things. If they have anything they want to say, we'll give them that opportunity. And guys and ladies in the crowd, if you have any questions for them or questions for me, I'd look forward to hearing that after. So you drew the lucky straw being so close to me. Can we pass the microphone? Yeah, thank you. Take it away, please.
Very good. Very good morning to all. My name is Yogiraj Ramesh Bhosle, and I'm a HIMT cadet sponsored through Indian Cadetship Program of IMAC. Like last year, I was just about to complete my graduation, and it was like a very dicey moment for me to choose whether to go for a co-job in industry or to get into this dynamic field of merchant navy. And that was a time when I got to know about this Indian Cadetship Program of IMAC. And then I started with the process. Like for last 6 months, we have been in HIMT getting training under IMAC. The most important thing what I found is it's a great connecting link between the company and cadet sponsored. So it's a big relief moment for us because there is always an intermediate between us and our company. So like whatever we are getting in our journey, if we are facing any problems, IMAC is always there to help us. And then the feedback sessions with IMAX are really wonderful. So that's all about my journey with IMAC. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Jayaditya Guhoroy, and I'm sponsored by Valam through IMEC Indian Cadetship Program. IMEC really came in my life as an angel, if I may say so, because I come from a very non-technical family. Like my whole family is in banking sector. So I was really tipping away like how to get into merchant navy and all. So I tried into Musk. I unfortunately couldn't get in. So then came and swept it away. Like, so I then got placed into Valam, and they again gave me a sponsorship letter beforehand, and that was very helpful. It boosted my confidence, and then I joined HIMT. So the whole process was so simple, and like I really didn't thought that we can easily like this process is so easy. Like we listen to this comments really often, like you have to get into agents, then it's very hard getting a sponsorship. So the process for me was very simple, and that's what IMEC is, I guess. So thank you, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Presh Patel. Uh, my name is Presh Patel, and right now I'm a HMT student, and I got selected in V-Ships. I got selected in a V-Ship, and it's a great journey. At least 6 months in HMT, and I'm the first officer in my family. Nobody knows, nobody knows about merchant navy in my family, and they are so proud of that. Um, my my parents are so proud of me that I'm the first who is going to be officer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Manand Sawa. I am sponsored from Unix Line Private Limited. I think I may be the youngest person present here. So my journey with IMEC started last year when I just finished with my boards. I was deciding to what to do, and then I thought that maybe a merchant navy is the best option. Then I figured out all the options and applied to various sponsorships. And thankfully, I got sponsored in IMAC, and my journey from there was just wonderful. Uh, I have gratefully met with Rob sir in many occasions. I think more than the cadets present here, I was lucky to meet him. And every time I meet him, he asks me one single question: if you are facing any problem, just let me know. I will solve this in an instant. And I think that's the greatest words I have heard from someone. And I think choosing IMS was the best option for me.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bharat, and I'm from HIMT. I'm after finishing my mechanical engineering, feeling lost in the sector, trying to do something in the core, and then I came to know about merchant navy as such like a rare career that most of them don't choose. And then I tried joining into GME. Then I found there's something called IMEC that's sponsoring kids or cadets. And then I came to know about IMEC, and then I just applied and got a job in Columbia Ship Management. Now the journey has been so wonderful. I think it's going to be wonderful going through the journey with IMEC. I think I'm really happy with it. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Mauna Uttappa, sponsored by Wallens. I'm pursuing my pre-C training from Trainingship Rahman. Today, on this special day of Women's Day, I would like to share that I'm the first female nautical cadet of IMAC. I'm really honored to be, and I'm so grateful for IMAC, my company, as well as my institution for giving me so many opportunities. It has made me prove myself, and they have always been there for us. IMAC, as I'm an IMAC cadet, I'm sure that I'm not into any kind of trouble. They make sure we are getting the best education. And I'm so thankful for that. Thank you.
Good morning, all. I'm Dilna. I'm sponsored by V-Ships through IMEC. I'm a cadet from CSL METI. At first, I didn't know anything about IMEC while joining the CSL. Through them, I got the sponsorship. And after that, they are treating us like a family. And I'm very thankful for that, for Rob and all, for treating us like a family. And thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Myself, Keshav Dev. I am from METI Cochin Shipyard and have been sponsored by V-Ships through IMEC. The main thing about IMEC is that Rob and Gary ensures that we get every support from our institute as well as them. He keeps on asking about whether anything is lagging over our training. He makes sure that we get proper training in our institute along with Gary. And that's it. They provide the best of the training they get to us. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. I know Shukat is like a hawk watching on the time. Do we have time to ask questions from the audience? Two questions. Okay. Of course. Guys, any feedback that could be improved? I mean, I can give them some results from the data analysis we have from the survey, perhaps. I think one of the big things that they told us, all of the cadets, 115, there's a lot of spreadsheets to read through, I can tell you. One of the major feedbacks was the connection between our IMEC members, the shipping companies, and the cadets. So one thing that we've been trying to do is we've been creating WhatsApp groups. And so all of them now have a connection with the shipping company so they can understand when they're going on board, when they might be visiting the school, so they can arrange to have more chats with them. Gary and I are now organizing online meetings with the cadets periodically when it's possible, normally every 2-3 months, just so we can check in and see how everything is going. But what's really important for us is we want to manage the program, but we want to sit back, because we trust the MTIs that we've selected to train those cadets. It's not our job to be pressuring them all the time. And yeah, that's probably the most major feedback we have. So yeah. Are there any questions in the crowd? Please. Can we get a microphone over to her, if that's possible? And just your name, your cadetship, and
Good
also
morning, everyone.
who the question is for.
For any of the cadets, I am Cadet Riddhi Pujari, doing BSc first year from Ganpat University, and I am placed in Tom Tankers. So my question is from any one of you, that you have your college, you have sponsored from a certain company, and you are also in IMAC. So how is IMAC impacting on your practical and theoretical and hands-on training while you are in college, and how is it benefiting you?
Very good question. Anyone would like to answer?
Okay. So, hello. My name is Jayaditya. So, I would like to answer this question. So, first of all, first thing which I think we are getting in our MTIs that we are getting that extra name added to us as IMEC. So, bit of a celebrity here. And then, second thing, like as we have been put in a lot of pressure. So, I think that pressure is acting as a benefit for us. So, people are expecting more, slightly more, but more. So like if there is a room full of people, full of cadets, and 20 of them are from IMEC and 20 are not. So as we have that extra name that, oh, they are IMEC candidates, and so they are expecting more. So you should have prepared more, you should have more marks, something like that. So I think that added pressure is a benefit. And then for educational purpose, as you asked, so we also have some value added courses just after we finish our program. And I think we feel lucky that the other guys are not getting that. We are getting it for free, and then that's another benefit. So these are the things I think we are benefiting. Anything else?
Any other questions? Last question. Shukat is watching me. I have to be careful.
Rob, what I see on the screen, you are training only 100 boys. After 2 years, you got 200 plus companies, big names, thousands and thousands of employees, all taking Indian officers. The Indian companies are suffering because of that number. Because we train on a particular under tonnage tax, at least 3 per ship. So giving those kind of numbers, we see in the foreign owners, some reputed companies like MSC, Anglo-East, and Swisspan, they take a big number. The remaining do nothing. And that is indirectly affecting us. We contribute into what is called as the Maritime Training Trust. We contribute for all the women cadets, whether they're going into IMEC or going into any other shipping company globally, coming from our fund, the Maritime Training Trust, ₹1,00,000 against their fees. In spite of all this, when you go back to your committee or your IMAC, you maybe say I'm training, but you tell those owners, it's time they also contribute to training and increase the numbers. Otherwise, it's affecting the Indian whole system. I think that's the message I wanted to send, because I was shocked that 100 is one Indian company will train with 25 ships, more than 100 numbers.
Absolutely.
That's my content, that everybody in India is to train.
Yeah, and I can go further, actually. The numbers are huge. I was visiting the Synergy office last week. I think they take around 500 cadets per year. The numbers are massive. But you're absolutely right. Investment needs to grow. Let me tell you about what we do in the Philippines. In the Philippines, the program is 4.5 years for our deck and engine students. IMEC, we fund 2 years of their tuition fees, 2 years of the 4.5 years. Not only do we invest in that, every single cadet gets an iPad. Every single cadet has their uniforms. Every single cadet we help with their lodgings, their accommodation, and their travel to and from Manila when they go home. And, we're involved in so many things in the Philippines because we have the funding there. My plan, and, I don't want to tell you all of the secrets, but we want to help support the cadets in India too, because the model is very different. In India, the model is the cadets pay a lot towards the course fees, and there are banks that support through loans and many other different means. Watch this space. That's all I'm going to say. So I completely understand your question. People need to pay. But I can tell you from when I'm meeting a lot of our members, they're investing so much money. Let me give you an example. BSM, I went to Cochin recently this week and saw their training facility, which they have for post-sea training and pre-sea training. They provide every cadet with 12 weeks of pre-shipboard training at their own cost. Now, not only in India, but that's worldwide in 7 different training centers. And they will fly those cadets, which are in different countries, to that training center to conduct that 12-week training course. And BSM are not the only company in IMEC membership doing the same thing. So what I'm telling you is, IMEC members are here to do the right thing. And it's our job, IMEC's job, to hold them accountable if they don't do that. We have MOUs with every single one of them for the entire cadet program, every single country. If they do not fulfill training, supporting officer, you name it, it's my job to hold them accountable. Hopefully that answered your question. And I think, Shakat, I think that's probably us for time, correct? Okay, so I just want to say a big thank you to the cadets and a big thank you for all of you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rob Gale. Thank you so much for this interactive session. Well, on stage, I would like to call upon Captain Sujit Churi of JESCO to felicitate, sir. Can I invite you on stage, sir? And also Captain Mukherjee, can I invite you on stage, sir? Yes, Captain Sujit Churi. So this particular session was all about status update on IMEC's continued investment in India by Mr. Rob Gale. And we really say thank you for this insights. Thank you so much, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, our next session brings us to a shining example of industry excellence. Cochin Shipyard Limited, that's CSL. A leader in shipbuilding and ship repair in India. Ladies and gentlemen, CSL not only sets benchmarks in maritime construction, but also offers exceptional practical training to seafarers. They have consistently been ahead of the curve, recently launching their groundbreaking hydrogen-powered vessel, a testament to their innovative spirit and commitment to sustainability. Today, we are honored to have with us 2 distinguished representatives from CSL METI, Mr. Vetriselvan A, that's Deputy General Manager, who has been instrumental in driving CSL's METI's operational excellence, and Mr. George Abraham, head of Marine Engineering Training Institute, a dedicated marine engineering expert passionate about shaping the careers of young maritime professionals. Before we welcome them to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch a short video that highlights the impressive journey and innovations at CSL. And after that video, I will invite Mr. Vetri Selvan and Mr. George to join us on stage for their presentation. Let's see the video first.
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce you Cochin Shipyard Limited Marine Engineering Training Institute.
Let's all applaud to the video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on stage, I invite Mr. Vetri Selvan and Mr. George to join us for the presentation.
Good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank Captain Shaukat for giving an opportunity for here. Cochin Shipyard, we just wanted to show you what we train and why Cochin Shipyard Metti on this presentation. As George will make a presentation, and he'll take over. Can we have the slide?
Once again, good morning to all of you. And thank you, Captain Shaukat, for the excellent opportunity and the amazing venue in the morning and in the evenings. Thank you very much. And yesterday we enjoyed with Rob at 12 o'clock in the night. Thank you. Well, we are presenting to you CSL METI. And why CSL METI? It's we've seen the downside of training where we were literally out and with very least number of cadets. GME, we do only GMEs. And at that time, Fleet was the only company supporting us constantly. And that's when SEMA Marine and later on IMEC came up. And then there's been no looking back. So as everyone knows, we are a part of Cochin Shipyard, and METI was set up in 1993 as per the recommendation of the Ministry of Shipping. The chairman always says, Mr. Madhu S. Nair, that it's not Cochin Shipyard's business. Cochin Shipyard's business is ship repairs and shipbuilding. And the ministry tasked us with starting the institute when seafarers were required more for the industry. And that's what we are delivering. The shipyard is situated right in the middle of the city. And we have trained and delivered more than 3,200 engineers, marine engineers to the shipping industry. From 2023, when FOSMA, Massa, Rob, and Francesco came and made their trip to Cochin Shipyard. And in Rob's own words, Francesco's own words, they literally asked us, where were you hiding? We had no answers for that. Where were you hiding? We didn't see all this before. Where were you? We didn't have any answers to that. It is just that we never came out. We were just sitting there and waiting for the industry to come. But now we are coming out. And we sincerely thank Massa, Fosma, IMEC, Fleet, Synergy, BSM, D'Amico, SEMA, Williamson, Volum, and K-Line and Adani for their invaluable support. We are running now with 140 students, that is our capacity, and all of them are sponsored from day one. METI, I believe, is the only residential training institute run by a shipyard. When I did my training as a marine engineer training, all shipyards used to do training. That's where we received our training. But then I don't know what happened, but gradually it fell away. And maybe GRSC, IMS, Goa, and Cochin Shipyard, we have been carrying the legacy through. We provide practicals in shipbuilding, be it hull construction, erection, hull outfit, commissioning of various equipments on board the ship, sea trials, and hands-on training on board various vessels under repair. We sincerely thank SCI for that and also the Indian Navy. Speaking, we have Vikramaditya on repair with us, and the students have got a wonderful opportunity there. They are exposed to the docking and undocking of vessels, and the GMEs get at least 13 to 14 vessels during their workshop training period of 1 year. And the METI workshop, as you had seen in the video, has got an array of auxiliary equipments of the ship. There's been an MOU signed between CSL and Maersk Fleet Management Technology India Private Limited for training and skill development of seafarers and ship repairs also. It was a recent development. And further to that, we have also had short-term fitter enhancement training for Maersk and also welders bridging training for Maersk. And we have a marine structural fitter trainees also being carried out for Maersk. We also have practical firefighting training of the IGF course for BSM in the institute at Kochi. We also conduct basic firefighting training for BSM as part of their 12-week process. And we have short-term industrial safety training for the Indian Navy. We have a fully fledged firefighting training institute in the shipyard. We are unable to do the BST only because we don't have a swimming pool, because DG has coupled all of them together. And these are small videos, photos of our campus where we provide the classes. And the auditorium and the conference room where the students can interact with their respective companies. And this is the hostel rooms which we are providing to the students. Well, Rob has come and seen them and evaluated them, audited them. And it is not only about just teaching. We also want to develop them wholesomely. The whole rounded development of the GME, that's what we are interested in. These are some of the photos where they have their training. And the legacy, which was started in 1993 with an initial group of seafarers. And we have some of them placed in the topmost positions in various companies. And these are some of the companies which are training with us. The present GME intake right now, we have been approved for 160 a year, with 120 in September and 40 in January. As part of our training, we have moved further, and we have 2 working purifiers and a ballast water treatment system from Alpha Level for GME training, a working vacuum toilet system from Wackman, a working OWS with the Wilden pump is there for the GMEs. And we intend to increase our interaction with the OEMs to source the equipments directly from them and get it for training. That is somewhere we have to improve, and we want to. There is an intent in us to do that. We also want to increase our practical exposure to the GMEs with respect to the electrical circuits and equipments. We are tying up with Synergy. They have a whole group of technical managers available in Kochi for that, and we aim to utilize that. So this is the ballast water treatment system provided by Alpha Laban. And the purifier, Wackman, vacuum toilet system, working model, and the oily water separator. And finally, we come to the end of our presentation. Then that is the view of the latest addition in CSL, the latest dry dock, 310 meters, stepped dry dock, 75 meters at the entrance, and 60 meters wide at the further end. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. I call upon all the cadets, 12 of them, to come on stage, and we are willing to take questions from please come on stage. And we are willing to take any questions from the audience.
In addition to the marine training, Cochin Shipyard is giving a training to about 500 ITIs in a year and 150 diploma degree students in a year under the skill development program. Also, we are conducting a marine structural fitter program for ITI students, about 200 people in a year, collaboration with the government of Kerala. And Cochin Shipyard is providing internship training for more than 1,200 people, students in a year. And also we are conducting a firefighting basic training for the 10th standard plus 2 students who are all doing firefighting course for diploma. So Cochin Shipyard is giving a lot of skill development program under the Ministry of Shipping. So we are almost supporting the students, around 200 or 2,000 or 2,500 students in a year in all trades, in addition to the maritime sector.
Any questions from the audience? We are more than willing to take the questions. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vetri Selvan sir and George Abraham sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to felicitate our two gems here on stage, may I request Captain Shokawat Shokat along with Captain Rohan Hiranjal of BSM to felicitate sir. Can I invite you both to come on stage?
Rohan here, Rohan Hiranjal. So I'm in the okay. So can I call upon Mr. Gupta? Let's felicitate.
Time for the next training session, and that is this time the topic is training from training to learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, our next session that is titled Training from Training to Learning, a deep dive into how we are transforming traditional training methodologies into dynamic immersive learning experiences using AR, VR, and cutting-edge digital tools. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to introduce our distinguished speaker, Captain Chinna Rooparaju from IMTC, a true training expert. Captain Rooparaju is a renowned integrated advanced digital technology maritime learning specialist, ensuring that our seafarers not only acquire skills, but also embrace continuous learning in a rapidly evolving industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Captain Chinna Rooparaju on stage. Can we have a round of applause for sir?
Thank you. Captain Shaukat and his team, guests of honor, fellow speakers, esteemed colleagues from the industry, and my young friends in the room. A very good morning to all of you. I've consciously refrained from preparing a presentation for today. I don't want people to be, asking me for copies of it later while sleeping during my speech. Sorry, just kidding on that. But what I'm looking at, I'm hoping to lead this through with a lot of questions, and I hope you will indulge me by, maybe coming up with counter questions or posing, submitting answers of your own. So, okay, the title of my presentation was given as the transition from training to learning. It somehow got morphed into training and the word several times. So what I'm looking at is the transition in the seafaring industry from a training-oriented approach to a learning-oriented approach. And I don't claim credit for this. I think it's been going around for several years. A lot of seniors who are probably better versed at this than me. But I'd like to ask a question. Who can tell me what's the difference between training and learning? Any of my young friends in the room? Do we have some mics? Can we pass around? What's the difference between training and learning?
Very good morning, sir. My name is Yogi Raj. I'm from HIMT. So if you ask me about training, it's something provided by someone. It's some teachings provided to us. And when it comes to learning, it can be a self-learning also. We are learning things for ourselves, for our development.
Excellent. So yes, training is given, learning is taken. So we are directly transferring ownership of the process from somebody who gives to somebody who receives. And that's the whole point. Now, one more side question. Anybody else? Thank you. What's the Sanskrit word for training and learning? Don't open Google. Sorry, anyone? No? Vidya is education. Shiksha. Correct. That's the correct word. Shiksha. And strangely enough, the same word stands for both training as well as learning. My question is, were our forefathers trying to tell us something? Where did we get lost along the way? It has always been learner-oriented, learner-centric approach in India. Somewhere along the path, we digressed away. And perhaps it's time for a correction and return to our roots, right? So with that, I'll talk a bit about traditional training approach that we've seen in the industry. We've had any position on board, we taken as an example, they probably start with a bit of time in a pre-C school. Then they go on board to complete some practical experience. And they come back, perhaps go back to MMD for some kind of exams and get a certificate of competency or a certificate of proficiency. And then they are ready to work on board. So they report with that COC or COP to the company. And the first thing they're told is that, very good, congratulations, we have seen your certificate. Now it is our belief that you do not know anything. So this is our training matrix. Go and complete more training. And at the end of it, now we believe you know everything. You don't need our support anymore. And we expect 100% performance from you. I am, of course, being a little sarcastic. Not all companies do this extreme thing, but yes, that's the general philosophy that we are looking at, which is which has been working okay, but I think it's not it's not achieving the kind of foolproof results that you want. So what can we do? And then, of course, the second half of the approach or the philosophy, where we talk about a learning approach. And the transition needs to happen from in the mindset from where we treat everybody as equal versus do we know, are we trying to measure whether there are any gaps in learning and then address them. So how do we go about it? Of course, we have things like e-learning platform, we have Seagull, we have Ocean Learning, we have Carco, we have quite a few solutions, which are, I must say, quite good, but they probably, with due apologies, falling a little short of where we want to be. Does our average seafarer open Google for a quick answer to a question, or does he or she open the company's LMS software application to look for solutions? And that's where I think we are, as an industry, falling short. And if because the content is probably too formal and too structured, and it takes a long time, and probably they don't get answers for specific to the questions asked. Instead, they have to read through pages of content before they arrive, they find what they're looking for. And that's why they're probably going to ChatGPT or Google. So what can we do? Well, at Williamson, we have recently in a project, it's been, I can't say recently, it's been about 2 years, where we are coming up, in fact, we have already launched, and I'm not here to talk about Williamson, but just a quick about the philosophy. The platform that we have is compulsorily restricted to content which cannot be longer than, say, 15 minutes. And about 70% of our content is less than 7 to 8 minutes long. And there is a social media element which is introduced. So you can have like, comment, share options, TikTok style. And people are commenting, talking to each other. It's been 6 months since we've launched, and we've seen the energy is phenomenal. And probably that's the way to go. But is that adequate? So one more question. What's the best way to learn about Microsoft Excel? How many of you attended formal courses? Who thinks he or she is good at Microsoft Excel? Again, my young audience. So how do you learn about Microsoft Excel? Do you go into ChatGPT or YouTube videos? Correct. So we don't need formal training on a subject like this. Obviously, we all been, even including myself, we've helped ourselves by tools available. About Excel, who can tell me what's the maximum number of decimals that your Excel sheet can handle? Anybody? Were you aware there's a limit? Surprisingly, it can handle a maximum of 15 decimals. Anything more than that, Excel sheet will round it up, and your answers are no longer accurate. See, that's where the concept of a guru comes in. It's 99% of your knowledge about Excel could be learned by the person himself or herself by watching YouTube videos, searching through Google, etc. But you need the guru to point you in the right direction, what questions to ask. That's what the uh, that's the part of the transition necessary on the part of the mentors or the trainers, that instead of dishing out and throwing knowledge like a flood at the seafarers, we probably should transition to asking the right questions. In fact, guru is a Sanskrit word. It does not mean a teacher. The two syllables ga and ra, they stand for two different, very specific things. Ga stands for darkness or ignorance in this case. Ra stands for somebody who removes it. So it's the job of a guru to remove the blinds from the eyes of the students so that they can see for themselves. And that's where we need to have the transition on both sides of the spectrum. So in addition to all of these, me and my team at IMTC are, of course, embarking on a lot of projects internally, which we don't talk about. We are crunching data all the time. We are collecting. Now, remember, if you have to crunch data, you have to have digitized the past data. So how long ago, how many years of data have you accumulated is the big question. If you have a lot of it, then the answers are likely to be more accurate at the end of it. Of course, I'm willing to and happy to exchange notes on these subjects at any time. Thank you very much for your patience, and I'm grateful to Shaukat for the opportunity.
Request you to please wait. Thank you so much, sir. Well, I request Captain Shaukat Mukherjee, along with Captain Arun Mehta, MD OSM Thom, to felicitate our speaker on stage. Can I invite you on stage, sir? May I request Mr. Devesh Gautam to please come up on stage to felicitate, sir? Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our next session addresses one of the most critical challenges in the maritime industry: reskilling senior seafarers. Staying relevant in the changing landscape and aligning training to meet the IMO 2030 strategy. As technology evolves and regulatory frameworks become more stringent, it's vital that our experienced professionals continue to enhance their skills and remain competitive alongside younger, tech-savvy counterparts. Well, in this discussion, we will explore the need for standardized, future-focused training programs that not only uphold international regulations, but also foster sustainability in our operations. Our goal is to identify strategies for effective upskilling and ensure that senior seafarers are empowered to lead and adapt in this dynamic environment. Well, allow me to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed panel. Well, our moderator from MMS Maritime India, a maritime leader and an educationist and the winner of the Sagar Ratna Award yesterday, whose extensive experience in operations and compliance has been instrumental in shaping key industry policies and training programs. Please welcome Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani. Next, from JESCO, a seasoned maritime professional with over 3 decades of experience in regulatory affairs, ship management and training, and a respected voice in global maritime forums. Let's all welcome Mr. Sunil Kumar from JESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all applaud. Our next dignitary on stage, a distinguished expert in fleet management, renowned for optimizing crew operations and enhancing workforce efficiency. Captain Manoj Gandhi from CISPAN. Let's all welcome, sir. Next, we have from FMIRO Kolkata, who brings invaluable insights from his extensive experience in maritime training and education. Please welcome Captain Nirmalya Karmakar. Thank you so much, sir. Well, next from FMIRO Noida, excuse me, recognized for his leadership in modernizing training initiatives for senior seafarers. Let's all welcome Captain Guru Prasad Kohli from FMIRO. No, check. All right. Let's welcome our next dignitary. Well, Mr. Vinit Gupta, an MD at Anglo-Eastern Ship Management India, a dynamic leader in crew training and operations with nearly 3 decades of industry expertise. Let's welcome Mr. Vinit Gupta on stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I now hand over the stage to our moderator, Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, to lead the essential conversation. And please join me in welcoming him on stage as well.
Okay, gentlemen, can we have a seat, please?
Nani on stage.
So first of all, I think thank you to Captain Shaukat and as well as to his company MCN for arranging this particular event. I think it's something which makes news all over the country. And it is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here and to be able to moderate this discussion with such big luminaries from the industry. You know, the topic of the panel, which they are going to discuss on, is reskilling senior seafarers so that they stay relevant in a changing landscape and aligning training to meet the IMO 2030 strategy. Now, this is something which it's a very, very broad kind of a thing. And at the same time, it is something which is very specific as well. So my job is to alternate between making it broad enough so that we have a lot of things to discuss, and at the same time to be able to converge it down into something which is more specific so that we are able to draw up and identify some kind of an action plan to be able to move further. In today's time, the industry that has connected our world for centuries is transforming rapidly through digitalization, automation, and the imperativeness for environmental sustainability. At the heart of this transformation are our senior seafarers, experienced mariners who have accumulated vast knowledge through decades of service, yet now face the challenge of adapting to unprecedented technological and regulatory changes. For the purposes of our discussion today, with the kind permission and consent of our panel, we define senior seafarers as those who are maritime professionals who have accumulated substantial experience, typically holding management level positions as officers or supervisory roles as ratings with at least 10 years of sea service and 5 years in their current rank. These are the professionals who have mastered traditional maritime operations, but must now navigate the waters of rapid technological advancement. The IMO 2030 strategy, with its ambitious environmental goals, only accelerates this transition, creating both challenges as well as opportunities for experienced maritime professionals. Today, our distinguished panelists will explore how we can honor the invaluable experience of our senior seafarers while equipping them with the new competencies essential for tomorrow's maritime industry. So, with this kind of an introduction, and with your permission and with the permission of the panel, I would like to start off with this entire discussion. So let us not waste too much of time because Shaukat has told me that he is reducing our time. So we'll have to just, move very fast. So let me ask the first question to Mr. Sunil Kumar. Uh, Mr. Sunil Kumar, having recently attended the IMO's HTW11 meeting, what key takeaways can you share regarding future competency requirements for senior seafarers, particularly in alignment with the IMO 2030 strategy? And also, may I request you, with the IMO emphasizing the human element, how can the maritime industry modernize the various training programs to ensure senior seafarers remain adaptable to the demands of the very fast rate of transitions, including the challenges of digitalization and sustainability requirements?
Thank you, Mr. Barnani. I had the privilege to attend the recent STW11, which happened last month from 10th to 14th of February. And what was done there, and that is the takeaway, was to first identify the gaps, the learning gaps, competency gaps, which is currently prevailing. So around 500 plus gaps were identified. And that was the phase one, the gap identification. Just prior to that, in the month of October, we had intersessional working group. I could attend that as well. And that was the initiation of gap identification, which culminated in STW 11. And those gaps which were identified has moved to phase two, and phase two will commence sometime in February of 2026. In between, there will be certain correspondence group which will work throughout on the gaps that have been identified. So primarily, what are the gaps that have been identified? Basically, the technology has shifted leaps and bounds. And for each 3 years of shift of technology, the training requirement is of 10 years, like to catch up with the 3 years modernization of technology, you need 10 years of training to bridge the gap. So the takeaways were that how do we now bridge these gaps? Train the trainer, use of AR, VR, all these things were discussed, I mean, in length. It was a 5-day meeting. I cannot dwell too much on that, but yeah. Major focus remained on digitalization and the maximizing the use of augmented reality and virtual reality simulators. These elements and the competency table needs to be now enhanced to include these trainings going forward and bridge the gaps that have been identified. I mean, of course, each gap will be discussed in length in the upcoming ISWG, which will happen in February 2026. The total timeline for the entire thing now, looking at the voluminous work, is now set at 2031. But the apprehension is that by 2031, again, the technology will move further by another 5 years. And how do we cater to those training requirements? So it's an ongoing challenge. There's no concrete solution immediately, but we have to keep discussing and keep emerging with solutions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think thank you very much for that. And that's a very excellent point which you make. We have to try and catch our own shadow, one way or the other. And I think one very important point which you raise is changing the mindset of the seafarers. Training is all right, 3 years of technology change, resulting in at least a minimum period of 10 years of training. That sounds like a very daunting task. if I may say. But I think what's important here is changing the mindset of the various seafarers. So let me now just pose this question to Captain Karmakar. What are the challenges and apprehensions of the senior seafarers, which you believe would exist in the face of emerging technologies and regulations?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, sir, for the question. As Mr. Sunil has already highlighted the emerging technologies, and the Germans have called it almost a decade ago that this is the fourth industrial revolution after steam, electricity, and computers. And our STCW, we are still trying to catch up. And this is where there is a large gap in the working and the training environments which are available today for seafarers. And this is away from the traditional methods, which we can say the 40+ generation has been doing in their lifetime. There is obviously a perceived threat of job losses, which is absolutely real, sir. Because with steam, there was job loss. With electricity, there was job loss. And then again, with computers, there was job loss. Mindset misalignments, as you have rightly pointed out, the risk of losing control of something that we are not able to understand, something that we are not familiar with, is very, very real. These three, I guess, the feeling of becoming obsolete, the feeling of losing my job, and the non-familiarity with the systems, I guess these are the major challenges to the old seafarers, if I may put it like that. Right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And then thank you for that. So that brings us actually to the next question now. So I'll seek comments from Captain Kohli here. Just taking this particular discussion forward, what training methodologies have proven most effective or likely to prove effective in helping senior seafarers adapt to the new technologies while leveraging on their extensive experience?
Thank you for having us here. I'm going to pick up on a few things I've heard over the last 1.5 days from the distinguished audience out here and the participants. The difference between training and learning, as Chinna said. There's a lot of human element in learning and training, as Karan had mentioned yesterday. Sanjeev Vakil talked about training being available anywhere, every time, and it should be a lot of fun. So when you talk about what training methods would be easily adopted by the industry and the senior seafarers, what I would look at is a mix of practical and simulation and theory. And there should be something which should be game-based, which should be fun, and which should be readily available. Because everybody who is sailing today is so conscious of the time that he has at home to spend with the family that they want to spend the minimum amount of time on training. The training should be relevant. Now, there is a lot of training courses which are mandated for post-sea courses, etc., by DG Shipping, which are including certain elements, not necessarily anybody's fault here, but because the way regulations are evolving very slowly, which are not relevant. Whereas the ship owner, the ship managers, the charters, etc., want something which is a lot more relevant. So there has to be a mix between the 2 or 3 or 4 stakeholders to create training which is relevant to the particular seafarer. Let's not burden him with so much of training, and lot of which is irrelevant. So that is very important. And then the other very interesting point is we talk about training, and when we were trying to define senior seafarers, it was very nice that you included support level seafarers with a certain amount of experience. And I was very pleased to see today during the Cochin Shipyard presentation that Maersk is spending a lot of time on reskilling their fitters and welders, etc. Now, this is the kind of an approach we need across the industry, because the support level, at least as per DG Shipping guidelines, does not require any kind of revalidation training as far as the Indian services are concerned. And of course, the most important part of reskilling and retraining is how are they going to be dealing with a generation that speaks a language which is slightly different, which has a comprehension of authority and command, which is slightly different, which is today a lot more knowledge is available at their fingertips. So I think it will be very prudent to add at this point, we need to spend a lot more time on HR and human skilling. Today, our revalidation course, sorry to say, does not even have 1 hour of reskilling, HR training included in that. Our SMS course has barely an hour for HR skills, which I think needs to be changed because we're dealing with a different person in the room now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's an excellent point which you make. Having a collaborative learning environment which can be applied on board almost directly is what is the need of the hour. We should not really dilute our efforts to go in a direction which is different from this. So then thank you for that. Now, let me just come to Captain Gandhi, and I'll focus more on the industry-related aspects. We have heard the people, we have heard from the various regulatory aspects. We've heard from the two training institutes. Let's look at the industry now. So then, Captain Gandhi, how are shipping companies currently addressing the reskilling needs of their experienced crew members in preparation for IMO 2030 strategy requirements?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very pertinent. If we look at it, just for the audience sake, it means by 2030, we have to reduce the carbon footprint by 40%, measuring from 2008. So that's the order that IMO wants. Thereafter, of course, we have to get carbon neutral also by 2050. So coming to it, alternate fuels is one of the initiatives that the industry has taken. Now, that is like we have gone in for LNG fuel. Now, when you use LNG, we've taken 25 ships. So as my panelist was talking about augmented reality, that's what we used at. We looked at the gap. Dual fuel bunkering is one of the big gaps. So we used that tool to prepare, a proper step-by-step model of how to bunker an LNG vessel. And it's available on an app. It's provided on the mobile to the joiners. It is available on the tab, on a tablet, on the ship, and that's how you do it. So that's an example that I gave. Similarly, if you look at other things also, new builds, if it is the best and the best person who can teach you is the manufacturer. So you ask for added owner benefits from the manufacturer. And with that, you send your trainers, you send your first batch, second batch, and third batch of people, your seniors who are going to join the ship. And when they go on board the ship, after being taught by the manufacturers, surely they can do a good job. So that's a few items that we use, how we're bridging this gap. Thank you.
Yeah, that's indeed very, very important because the industry has to keep up pace and has to make sure that, the vessels are operated the way they are supposed to be. And no kind of a knowledge or a skill gap can afford to be allowed to persist. Now, let me just extend this further and we go on to what the future outlook could be. So let me pose this question to Mr. Vineet Gupta. Looking ahead, how can the maritime industry transform the challenges of reskilling senior seafarers into a strategic advantage for implementing the IMO 2030 decarbonization and the digitalization goals?
I think the industry is already preparing for these things for a quite long time. Unfortunately, whatever solutions have been found or being worked upon at the moment are all transiting situations. 2 years back, if you just go and talk about the scrubbers, they were the talk of the town. They're all phased out completely now. We trained a lot of people onto the scrubbers. There are no more scrubbers. They are there. They're going to be phased out. Most likely, they're burdened now on the people. So the whole thing is you are using ammonia was a very in thing a couple of years back. Now talking about ethane, methane, ethanol, methanol, and all kind of things are being talked about. So everything is changing continuously, rapidly. So training also has to be catching up with all these things. We are in a state of confusion at the moment. Somebody's opting for one type of fuel, second company is opting for second type of fuel. One particular shipyard is giving you one solution, other people are giving other solutions. You can't make seafarers do all the trainings, you know. So we have to train people on the go as the particular type of technology being used. We are doing it. The companies, the shipping companies, the management of the companies are dealing with on the daily basis. Uh, Simulators is the best way of training people nowadays. I mean, I always like to believe seafarers are capable lot. I just want to quote a small thing. We were talking in the morning before the session started. One of our colleague seafarer, captain who started as a cadet on the ship, he now heads the Mumbai airport complete construction. See from where he has landed where. It means the potential of our people is very, very great. We have to just provide the right environment of training to them, and they will definitely learn, catch up, and deliver. Every boy and girl sitting in this room, a cadet sitting in this room, has a potential. So we have to provide the right environment. Right environment can be provided by giving him the same work environment which is going to face on the vessel in terms of the simulator, which is also applicable for the senior people. You know, senior people are not the ones who are phasing out. They still have but they have the capacity to understand faster and better, and they can learn also along with it. You look at the technologies which have come recently, like, you know, the WhatsApp and everything. Who has taught them? They've learned on their own. We all use it. Our grandfather also use it. So people will learn very, very fast, provided you give them in a simple way of learning. Somebody already mentions it should be a fun learning. It should not be a burden learning. It should be easily available, simply available on your handle tools, and people will learn irrespective of what the age brackets are. It is not a problem. We will have to trust them, and we have to provide them the right environment, and it will be all taken care of. Seafarers are capable lot, and they have always evolved with the time from the coal to the oil, and now to something else. They will survive. There's no way they will not phase out. Elderly, senior, everybody will learn. We have to just provide the right environment. That's all we have to do. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if I may just sum up what you said, I think what we need to do is we need to transform this entire business of reskilling from a compliance exercise into a knowledge capture opportunity. And that way we can accelerate the industry-wide progress towards achieving the IMO 2030 goals. Seafarers have a lot of ability. Seafarers have adapted so many times in the past. We cannot really doubt them for this particular trait of theirs. And we need to put them in the right environment, as you said, and automatically the required objective can be achieved to a very large extent. Thank you for that. So let me now just come back onto the regulatory aspect, and I will ask a question now to Mr. Sunil Kumar. So we spoke about what the IMO is doing. So let's probably just go a bit further in that direction. How do you think IMO is addressing the potential skill gap between the current STCW requirements and the rapidly evolving technological demands being placed on senior seafarers?
Thank you for this question. So this time, total of 75 papers were submitted at IMO, out of which 17 was from India, proudly the largest number. So
That's a very big applause, huh?
yeah. And I had the privilege to put up 6 papers.
Oh, wow. That deserves a bigger applause. Huh?
Thank you so much. And I was going through all the papers, and two things which drew my attention, which was talking something really new and not the repetitive type of things. One was lifelong learning framework. So the concept, and the other one was, I'll elaborate both of them depending on the time. And another one was time-based certification to competency-based certification. So these two papers drew my attention and they were all talking about not absolute, but to quite an extent, a very innovative thought. The first is lifelong learning framework. So in that, it is like primarily good for our senior seafarers, in which all the stakeholders, right from institute, ship owner, and seafarer, they have to be in a loop, and a lot of digital interventions are required, in which we are not telling them to, okay, keep attending the courses one after the other. Self-paced learning primarily is at the key, at the bottom. Of course, it's very well designed paper. I mean, I would request members here present to go through that paper. It's uploaded on the IMO website. The another one was from time frame based competency to time frame based certification to competency based certification. So currently, if you see, most of the training courses are having so many hours of learning, like you have to undergo so many hours of this topic, so many hours of this. I mean, can we really justify that? So from there, they're suggesting, a paper was suggesting that go with competency based certification. That means if you have acquired that competency, then your training is considered completed. But how will you do that? So that is possible on simulator. Like you have learned and you have demonstrated a rectification of a fault. A fault is created. You have been able to rectify that fault. You have proven that you have acquired that kind of competency. So based on this fundamental philosophy, the paper has been developed, and this was talked about at IMO, and probably in going forward in upcoming STW meetings, probably these two things probably will take shape, and that's where probably the future lies. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I'm sure all these initiatives being taken by the IMO will be taken forward by our administration here. And it will address these gaps in the competencies as they may exist. And also then basis that identify the various technological aspects which are required, out of which simulators could be one. And there could be other aspects also, so that the senior seafarers' knowledge can be retained and at the same time be enhanced accordingly to meet with the various demands. So now going further, let me now go on to Captain Karmakar. How do you think the senior seafarers can be motivated and their onboarding facilitated towards automation, AI, and cloud-based technologies through training?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I would just like to pick up the points which have been raised by our panelists here. Sir has raised self-motivation. That is what I can say, to adapt and to adopt the new technology so that we remain relevant. That is what we can say, the job-based motivation part. And sir has raised here what is lifelong learning, Ajivan Vidyarthi. That is what we can say, self-motivation part. So these two are the basis on which we can utilize these new technologies which are coming in. As we know that all technologies are meant to be decision-making tools. They are supposed to assist decision-making. Captain Bajaj in his Vatsila presentation yesterday has very nicely highlighted that critical thinking will be essential at some stage when we have automation, when we have AI coming into the picture. And this was highlighted about maybe like 10 years ago when Shell presented a video regarding what they called as the chronic unease. This chronic unease is possible in persons. So the persons will have the job. So this is something that I think should be a motivator. Secondly, AI is collective knowledge, and collective knowledge will help in taking collective decisions. Collective decision making is always better than individual decisions, and this is should be another motivator for people to take up the emerging technologies so that we have more efficient and better decision making rather than individual. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. And just to extend it a bit further, do you feel that there could be specific barriers from the senior seafarers when they are required to shift from established practices of learning to all these new technological paradigms?
Oh, yes, sir. Resistance to change, mainly something that we can say that we could prefer to have a status quo rather than going ahead based on my preferences, my habits. There could be an inability, or we can also say reluctance to rely on something which I'm not so familiar with, something which I have not really mastered my art, or something that I have not really worked on. So these two, I think, should be the we can see are the barriers to adopting new technologies. Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, let me just come back to Captain Kohli. Captain Kohli, how do you think we can structure these various training programs that acknowledge and require the need to unlearn certain practices while respecting the valuable expertise senior seafarers have developed over the years? And of course, another aspect probably is being discussed, but we'll also like to hear your thoughts on that. What role would shipboard training versus shore-based simulation play in the reskilling process for seafarers who have decades of practical experience?
Yeah, to unlearn is never been easy because it's part of your DNA. And I personally believe that as a lifelong learner, there is always space in you to learn. Certain habits, certain attitudes, certain traits of your personality can always be improved so that you're open to new ideas and new learning. So that is something where I, again, focus on HR skills, which you need to inculcate in senior seafarers as well as senior support level as seafarers, so that they're open to new ideas and they're open to new learning. In terms of, you mentioned shore-based training and simulator-based training, shipboard training and simulator-based training. There is merit in both, and both cannot be replaced. They both have their own merits. What I would also like to pick up on is something we heard a little earlier, is the attention span for any training is something around between 10 to 15 minutes. So every time I switch off my computer, it asks me if I would like to update and shut down or update and restart. So instead of this being that, okay, I need to send you for a reskilling or a new learning every 6 months, let's make it a continuous process. Let's make it so accessible that every time I shut down, I can restart with a new learning. And I mean, I hope I have expressed that correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's really important is that they should want to unlearn and they should want to relearn. So making them understand that this is what is really required here. Captain Gandhi, you'd like to add something? No. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm just coming to you in any case. So you mentioned about the measurable benefit. What measurable benefits have you observed when companies invest in comprehensive reskilling programs for their senior seafarers? And of course, please extend this also to include what specific technologies or systems have presented the steepest learning curve for the senior seafarers, and how are these challenges being addressed so that they can be converted into opportunities?
Okay. The senior seafarers are the face of the company. They are the ones who deal with the charterers, the shippers, the port officials, the agents, the pilot. So if you have them, sufficiently trained, guided to deal with the new environment or the new technologies that are in place, then obviously when they deal with these, your supporters or your charters, they can present a proper picture. So that's why it's very important. And when you're coming on the beneficial part, it becomes your LTIF, your efficiency, your economy of scale, all that comes into play when you train, they can percolate down the training to the lower, the people who are under them. So leadership to be trained is very important and very necessary. That's how I look at it. Yes, as far as the new technology that is coming and what is the steepest, I would say if you're building a new ship, not a problem. But when you're going for retrofits, and like now they're going to convert standard ships, conventional ships into methanol carriers. Now, I mean, methanol fueled vessels. That learning, because that's totally new, and that would be a little challenging. But yes, as the other panelists have said, seafarers are very adaptive. They can manage change. And the genesis of this goes to the linearity of the progression that you have. This is the only industry where you have 1/3 officer, 1/2 officer, 1 chief officer, 1 master. While if you have an industry, show-based industry, it's a triangular shape. That's the base where you have the flow workers, then you have supervisors, then you have managers, then you have a group manager, and then on top you've got 1 CU. Here, each ship has got 1 CU. So they're used to this adaptability and they work very well with it. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we seem to be moving in the right direction. Maybe we have to keep on carrying out the various course correction as we go along and adapt ourselves to what all newer and more challenging requirements we may be confounded with, and try and convert them into opportunities. And now my last question of the panel. Let me come to Mr. Vineet Gupta. We are focusing on what the future outlook would be. So how do you think the role of the senior seafarers may evolve over the next decade as vessels become increasingly connected and automated? And what specific opportunities do you see for senior seafarers to contribute their experiential knowledge to the development of new maritime technologies and systems?
Thank you, Sanjay. Irrespective of the technologies, what the technology is all about. They are about fuels, energy, connectivity, reporting, data. These are the new technologies. The seamanship is same, it's going to stay there. The operations of the vessel in terms of day-to-day work, maintaining the steel of the vessel is going to be same, nothing going to change. So the seafarer's main job will continue to be the same most of the time, except for a few people at some occasions for certain type of things, they need training. But the core value stays, and that's where the seafarers and seamen come into picture. The more senior you are, the more experience you have got, you're going to use everything what you have and the new things more effectively and pass it on to the new generation. So it is not a loss of, in any case, more experienced people are not at loss, rather they are the beneficial people to pass the baton down the line to the next generation with the experience what they have gained over the period of time, irrespective of the change in technology, the variations, the improvements in the way you communicate, seamanship remains same. And that's all I want to add here. Nothing much longer than that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to open the floor to the audience. Any questions from the audience? Yes, Captain Pradhan.
Yeah, thank you for the advice that I have to keep it short and sweet and no questions asked. I'm not asking more questions directly to Sunil Kumar. Yes, we always appreciate your efforts in IMO and the papers you have doled out. On one of your papers when you said about the competency certification, based certification, then the topic was raised by Nautical Institute UK saying that we'll try, if you do this simulator training, then we can reduce the onboard sea time on board from 12 months. They wanted to put it down to 11 months, but it is going to be again debated further in the working groups. So if this is the trend and they want to, then today it's 11 months, they are talking from 12, then next day it's going to be 10, 9, you don't know, maybe 6 months again. So I do not know whether that's going to be appreciated by everyone. So that's one. And Captain Gandhi, for you also, so that I don't have to keep asking again. Very nicely you mentioned about alternative fuels. I think in STW 11, it was decided the training part, because what is happening is technology is coming in quick and fast. Comprehensive reviews were there. We also had this gap analysis for 500, but nobody spoke about training. And when it came to alternative fuels, it was methanol, ethanol training that will be put in. When we had recently the Secretary General of IMO, Mr. Dominguez, who was here, and I did ask him, what about then the ammonia and hydrogen? Simple answer he gave, we don't have data, so we can't start the training. But then we are building up ships. We want our seafarers to operate these ships with these alternate fuels. If you don't, IMO doesn't have the training, and they said use the basic IGF code training, and that's good enough. I don't think that's in my opinion. So I leave it to Mr. Sunil Kumar right now. Thank you very much.
So two
Thank you.
things.
Thank you very much.
Your first question was simulator versus sea time. So, of course, there was no conclusion drawn in the last meeting. So it will go on in correspondence group or working group. So, and primarily, you could sense that the feeling was nothing can substitute the real life experience. That was the feeling being imposed by powerful countries. So it's not going to be total replacement, or majority part will still remain the real life seafaring over simulator. Simulator can aid, it cannot replace. So that is one.
Correct, correct.
The second question was ammonia and hydrogen. This time itself, we have already drafted the interim guidelines for ammonia and hydrogen. The specific to the particular fuel that will emerge, it has started, that has also started with methyl ethyl alcohol. So it's an ongoing thing, and you rightly, we all met Mr. Arsenio Dominguez this time in Mumbai, and yes, it's not easy with 13 fuel grades and 29 technologies under discussion. It's not going to be easy for either for the seafarer or for ship operators to decide which fuel to go, what training to give. You have to like be very alert and watchful what is happening in the industry and keep correcting the course of.
Yeah, it is something similar to catching your own shadow.
Absolutely.
And still be hopeful of doing it. So anyway, I think we had time for two questions, and one person asked both those questions. So do we have any more time, Shaukat, or shall we call it off? No, huh? Okay. So Shaukat is very, very clear that we can't go further. So I just follow what he tells me. So I think we would just like to have a very quick summary of it. I think number one, we as we work towards IMO 2030 requirements, the reskilling of senior seafarers represents not merely a compliance challenge, but also an opportunity to enhance maritime safety, operational safety, and environmental performance. Secondly, we have recognized that effective reskilling is not about teaching new technologies. It is also about creating meaningful connections between established maritime expertise and emerging operational problems. Our senior seafarer possess a wealth of experience that remains invaluable, and successful adaptation builds upon rather than replaces this foundation. Thirdly, we have heard compelling evidence that investing in comprehensive reskilling programs yields measurable benefits in safety, efficiency, and also possibly crew retention. Fourthly, maritime industry has also adapted to change from sail to seam, from celestial navigation to GPS, and now to the digital and sustainable transformation ahead. Lastly, the future of maritime operations will ultimately be shaped by how effectively we bridge traditional seamanship into emerging technologies. And our senior seafarers stand at the critical intersection of this particular transformation. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the panelists and all the distinguished panelists for their very valuable insights and for giving us insight into their wealth of wisdom and knowledge which they possess. And I'm sure it will be a very good experience for the entire audience, as it has been for me so far. And together, we have to ensure that the maritime industry's greatest asset, the knowledge and expertise of its people, continues to guide us safely through the waters of change. So I want to thank you for your attention, and I wish you all fair winds and following seas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well, I request all our panelists to please stay back because it's time to invite Captain Arun Mehta, MD, OSM Thom, and Captain Mr. Jitendra Rawat of Ganpat University to please come up on stage for the felicitation of our speakers, along with Captain Shaukat Mukherjee. Well, at this juncture, I request Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani to please stay back as we have something special for you. Requesting Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani to please stay back. And as Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani stays back, I hand over the mic to Captain Shaukat Mukherjee. So please take over.
Dr. Sanjay Bhavnani, please stay back. We have a surprise for you. And ladies and gentlemen, we presented two of the prestigious Sagar Ratna Award yesterday by the Honorable Shri Pramod Sawantji, the Chief Minister of Goa. And today, sir, we have conferred and we have decided to confer. I'll come back to that later. Anyway, so let's discuss on his achievements. Dr. Bhavnani is a huge figure in shipping, especially being such a great educationist and also at the helm of a company. He brings what no one else can bring in the industry, and that is a perfect blend of education and commercial knowledge. So I'll just read out a few things I've written for Dr. Bhavnani. With the illustrious career spanning over 35 years, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Bhavnani has been a visionary leader, strategist, and an influential figure in the global maritime industry. His unparalleled contribution in maritime operations, crew management, regulatory compliance, and strategic leadership have left an indelible mark on the sector, shaping the way modern shipping organizations function today. As Director and Chief Operating Officer of MMS Maritime India, a subsidiary of Meiji Shipping Group, Japan, Dr. Bhavnani has played a pivotal role in elevating global standards of ship management training and human resource development. His expertise in operations, finance, regulatory affairs, and corporate governance has been instrumental in positioning MMS Maritime as a global industry leader. Under his stewardship, the organization has expanded significantly, maintaining an unshakable commitment to the excellent safety and compliance with international regulations. Beyond his corporate leadership, Dr. Bhavnani is a distinguished academician and a thought leader. holding a doctorate in business administration and multiple advanced degrees, including a master's in maritime law and executive management certification from IIM Calcutta and London Metropolitan University. His dedication to research and education has made him a key voice in shaping policies for the human resource development, regulatory compliances, and the future of shipping leadership. His affiliations and leading global maritime institutions, including Intertanko, Intermanager, the Nautical Institute, the Institute of Marine Engineers, further underscores his vast influence in the industry. Dr. Bhavnani's ability to seamlessly integrate technical expertise, leadership, and human capital development has ensured that the maritime workforce remains prepared for the evolving demands of the industry. His passion for mentoring, training, and talent management has set new benchmarks in how shipping companies invest in their people, ensuring they stay ahead in a constantly changing landscape. In recognition of his unparalleled leadership and transformative contributions and dedication to shaping the future of maritime sector, the MIT ADT University and MANET, together with the Naval Connection, proudly honors today Dr. Sanjay Kumar Bhavnani with the prestigious Sagar Ratna Award. His legacy as a trailblazer in the maritime leadership and education will continue to inspire and shape generations of professionals in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, while we give a big round of applause, I call upon Rajiv Kashikar and Captain Prerit Mishra to confer the prestigious Sagar Ratna Award and the citation to Dr. Sanjay Kumar Bhavnani.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause once again for Mr. Bhavnani? Thank you so much.
Shaukat has been putting me in a spot today since morning. Anyway, so first of all, I would just like to thank all the concerned people in deciding that the award should be given to me. I am most humbled by this, and to be very honest, I'm genuinely surprised. I was not really expecting this. Nobody told me also, and I had really no idea. And having said this, I really wonder whether I really deserve this or not. We have so many distinguished people who are sitting in the audience. They would actually deserve it as much as anybody else, and especially me. But nevertheless, I would like to thank the entire committee for giving me this award and thinking me deserving enough for this. I would like to thank all my colleagues from the industry. There are so many of them. If I start taking their names, we'll probably go on for some more time, and then Shaukat will tell me your time is over. Please get out. But I want to thank each and everybody who has been with me, who has assisted me, and who has given me their support at all times and making this sort of a thing possible. I look forward to your continual support and assistance in the times to come. And finally, I need to thank all the people, my entire team at my organization for supporting me with all their inputs and with all their hard work for making this sort of a thing possible. And I'll be failing if I do not thank my family for this, who gave up so much, who also allowed me to do all these things. Today being Women's Day, it'll probably be a very, very fitting kind of a thanks which I can give to them. So once again, thank you very much for this.
So much, sir.
Now can I go?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, and hearty congratulations also to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we come to this juncture where can I ask for everybody's attention? All right. Why attention? Because there's a lucky draw that is going out right now. So it's lucky draw time brought to you by Sailor Today International Maritime Radio. And well, this is your chance to win an Amazon gift voucher worth rupees. Any guesses? That's right, 10,000. All right. So all you have to do is just download the Sailor Today International Maritime app and click on the logo. Okay, and the winners, the two lucky winners, we will be announcing at the end of the today. So ladies and gentlemen, I really see it's a very good idea right now that you are all having tea, coffee at the table. So I think we can start with the next session in the floor, right? All right, stellar. So ladies and gentlemen, do click on the logo and download Sailor Today International Maritime Radio app. And who knows, you might be the lucky one. Let's continue further. Well, it's now time to dive into one of the most critical topics in our industry, and that is crew retention and mental well-being. Navigating the human element in modern shipping, in today's rapidly evolving maritime environment, ensuring that our seafarers are both well supported and motivated is essential to reducing attrition and enhancing operational excellence. Well, this session will explore practical solutions to improve crew retention and foster long-term engagement with special focus on mental health and overall well-being. We are honored to have a panel of distinguished experts who bring a wealth of experience from different facets of the maritime world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our moderator, Ms. Neeta Jha, the Director, Group Learning and Organizational Development at MSC Ship Management Limited, a leader in maritime HR who has been instrumental in enhancing crew training, compliance, and welfare. Can we invite Ms. Neeta Jha, the Director, on stage, please? Well, joining her on the panel are Captain Dinesh Jairam, GM at C-SPAN, an advocate for diversity and inclusivity in shipping. Secondly, Dr. Vijay Balani, Medical Director at Blue Shield Medical Clinic, a pioneer in maritime healthcare with over 4 decades of dedicated service. Well, next I would like to invite Captain Sujit Churi, Head of Fleet Personnel at Great Eastern Shipping with over 30 years of experience in recruiting and managing seafarers. Next, MD of Dynacom Tankers, a legal expert in maritime operations and arbitration with more than 25 years in shipping management. That's Captain Mohan Naik. Can I invite you, sir, on stage? Ladies and gentlemen, our next dignitary, Ms. Gurleen Kaur Dheer, Senior Marine People Manager at Maersk Fleet Management, a passionate advocate for crew welfare and diversity. Next, Captain Niranjan Digama, our sailing master, rounding out our panel with his seasoned perspective. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I now hand over the session to our moderator, Ms. Neeta Jha. Please join me in welcoming everyone on stage here. Once again, can we have a round of applause for all our dignitaries up on stage?
Hello, hello. Hello. Good morning, everyone. The sound is okay?
Hello, check.
Hello.
Oh, check.
dear esteemed industry colleague and distinguished member, maritime community. First of all, I would like to congratulate for completion of 5 years for FSM. So we all are celebrating the achievement of 5 years. We all know that our topic of today is crew retention and mental well-being, navigating the human element in modern shipping. Crew retention and mental well-being are critical areas of focus for maritime industry of the modern era. Our discussion today will highlight the human factors of shipping, most critical topics like trends in attrition, mental well-being support systems, work-life balance, career development, and organizational culture. The objective is to bring ourselves in line with international best practices and strive to go beyond the set standards so that seafarers attain optimum well-being. Well-being may be viewed as a balance point between the resources and challenges a person faces. It often defined as a state of health, comfort, and happiness is what is needed for a successful maritime workforce. When seafarers flourish, they perform optimally, are in command of their lives, and have positive relationships, and have a sense of purpose in doing what they do. What we seek to do during this discussion today is to search for means to ensure that well-being is a dynamic integration of physical, mental, social, spiritual, financial factors. Optimistic orientation emphasizes the importance of a healthy work environment, training and development, career advancement, good relationship, and the top of it, good management practices. We all must recognize that good mental and physical health facilitates a greater engagement and organizational performance. Better well-being develops resilience, innovation, and productivity. Hence, building a culture, leadership, and people management framework that promotes well-being is necessity. Last but not least, when organizations highly regard well-being as a source of value, there are significant beneficial impacts on their organizational health. There is a greater positive impact through a healthy culture of organizational initiatives and strategies. This conversation of today will aim to explore how we can come together to build a maritime industry where well-being is fundamental reality for all seafarers. Today, present our eminent panelists here. I would like to put one very important thing that last year in 2024, Marine Benefits, they conducted a survey and where over 26,000 seafarers participated. And there is a data that 30% of seafarers are thinking and seriously thinking and preparing themselves to leave the seafaring. This is going to cause a big damage to the shipping industry because we are already running short of seafarers. So here we have eminent panelists. My first question goes to Captain Dinesh Jairamji. What are the most significant reasons for high attrition rates among seafarers today?
Thank you, Thank you, Nita ma'am, for the question. So I think I'll answer it in a little bit different way. I will look at what companies can do to retain their seafarers more, you know.
Yes.
So one of the most important things that I feel is compensation and benefits that the company offers to the seafarers. So the companies have to provide top of the line compensation in line with the surveys that the industry conducts as a median and above the median for keeping the seafarers with them as a retention tool. Then other things like health insurance, retirement plans, bonuses, and incentives that they offer, which I think many good companies do this. Then clear career growth development. The seafarers should know very clearly where they stand and what is the next step in their career and what they need to do to advance that path. Also, the certification, education required. Then work-life balance, that is rest hours on board. And if you need extra manpower, the company should support that to make their life easy on board. Positive culture, leadership. The leader should be empathetic, and that's how the company should train them, and to recognize and reward hard work and loyalty. Then another important thing is the crew welfare. Uh, so seafarers should have a fair treatment on board. The company should have a clear bullying and harassment policies which are operational and working, and ensure free communication between the seafarers and the office staff. Then things like, small things like food on board. If the companies do look at that and care to have maybe a chef like we have at C-SPAN, maybe have a chef who looks at what is there in the store and what can the ship's cook provide for the seafarers on board, things like that. And then we released a cookbook as well during the COVID. So those are all initiatives, small contests that we have on board as far as the food goes. Then the feedbacks, whatever we take from the seafarers, should always be anonymous. And that way the seafarers are, they're happy to give the feedback if the company really cares for their feedback. Then various things like SOPs, most of the job descriptions are very basic. So if you have proper SOPs for a rank, that helps a lot for people to stabilize on a rank. And internet is another big thing that most of the seafarers would like, and they always want more of it, no matter how much you give on board. And we understand that with what we saw with Shaukat's presentation yesterday. And then inclusivity and various other things that the companies can do, like planning home loans for seafarers. Like we have done it in the Philippines for the seafarers there. And for cadets, bursary programs. So we're not looking at people who have achieved something in their training. We're looking at people who are from underprivileged families who we can support financially. So these are all things that will help retention and in the long run help attrition as well for seafarers. Thank you, ma'am.
We would like to hear with Captain Sajid Sharif. What's your point of view?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
When Captain Dinesh mentioned, he covered maximum parts. But as you asked about attrition, over the years, in last 30 years, I would say, the shipping profession was considered as exploring, it's adventurous. But over the years, with social media becoming more active and various other professions, which without staying away from the home, we could achieve that much money at home, made it little lucrative and more attrition towards shipping. But this award or rewards, at the same time creating a different atmosphere on the ship, the culture, creating various aspects where how you can manage your life in the different parts of your career, where the balance of when you are at the teenage, when you get married, then you get responsible in your personal life. And at the same time, your growth in the worldwide, how it can be achieved if you project it in a nice way, keeping the control of not going it out of control, because sometimes the ship things can go out of control because they're on the small island and the processes go little weird. it's achievable and we can make it lucrative and achieve and reduce the attrition.
Yes, this way they will feel a sense of belongingness and valued. Yeah, my next question is to Captain Mohan Nayak ji. How can companies build a workplace culture that promotes long-term engagement and loyalty?
Thank you, Gunita madam. Actually, my co-panelist, Captain Dinesh Jairam, has already covered the industry best practices for retaining seafarers. So for good practices, further development of that, I would like to focus on two aspects in which the seafarers will be appreciating and staying with the company if the company builds on a good work culture. See, why does a seafarer leave a company? It is not only because of the work culture. He is leaving because of two kinds of pressures that are on him. One is a push and one is a pull. The push comes from within the company, the wrong practices which the company is carrying out, and that the seafarer observes, focuses on that, and he says, no, this company is not having the best safety practices, not having the best, human touch or personal touch, family type atmosphere. So he leaves the company. And of course, wages are a very important part by which, the seafarer is definitely going to be motivated by monetary benefits. The second reason why he says that work culture may be attractive somewhere else, some other company who are giving a better, advertising is better, or they feel that that company, by word of mouth, they feel that this company is definitely better prospects than my present company. And the third thing, the work culture which is happening on board is definitely cannot compare with what work culture exists on shore-based industry. So shore-based industry should be an example where the best work cultures can be copied or at least emulated by the shipping industry. There are many companies, I don't want to name all of them. There are some companies like Tata's, Ambani's, and even the smaller ones, Bajaj, for example. You try to absorb those work cultures and try to emulate them in the shipping industry. It's not easy, but it's not difficult also, and certainly it's not impossible. You get outside influence who are doing this work culture study in the main industry to put it on board and also to put it on the shore establishment. We should not run it like, what command and control type of a center where the master's word is all sacrosanct. We must also give a proper uh, work-like atmosphere on board and slowly build upon the work culture. So I will just try to repeat the same thing. Try to observe from shore industry and try to emulate it on board. Don't go by the old practices that have been carried out for the last 25 years.
Thank you, sir. My next question goes again back to Captain Dinesh Jairamji. How can ship management companies improve communication and support system to help seafarers feel more connected and valued?
Thank you, ma'am. So, as far as the communication goes with the seafarers, ideally, if you have a medium, like, for example, I'll give you our example where we have an app where we connect with all the employees. So all the seafarers, whether you're on leave or whether you're on the ship, you can communicate. You can communicate to a particular rank. You can communicate to everybody, and whatever message anybody wants to give, that including in the women groups that we have. So we can communicate that very clearly, and then listening to feedback. We do surveys, various surveys, where we ask a list of questions to all the seafarers. And the result is again anonymous. And what comes out of that is something that we publish, and we try to fix the problems that we have. So engaging the crew with the management is very important. Also, whatever trainings that you do, especially the new types of trainings, the human element training. So these kind of trainings is not only required for seafarers. What we find is when we had a first course, the seafarers are turning around and asking us, why don't you get the office staff also to get trained in that? So it's very important that the office staff also has to get aligned with the sea staff. So then only you can benefit from all this kind of engagement that you have with the seafarers. You know? So these are some of the things that I can mention. Thank you.
Well, it will be, we all will love to hear from our sailing staff, Captain Niranjan. Captain Niranjan, what's your viewpoint? You're a sailing captain, and your viewpoint is really important to us. So let's hear from him.
Thank you, Neeta ma'am. Good afternoon to all of you all, and thank you, Captain Shaukat, for having me here today. I would like to bring already spoken by our esteemed panelists here. There are a lot of companies that are doing a lot of good, right? For us as masters, when we are sailing, the important factor, like in the last session was spoken about the HR element. We are not trained as HR people. We are doing what we can as a master. Yes, we have games, we have parties on board, whatever we can do to initiate a contact between the crew. There's a lot of ambiguity and a gap that happens because when we're sailing with multinationals, especially, people are not readily coming forward to speak to you about their problems. So the only way to break the ice that I have noted is having some small kind of a party, engaging people into activities as a group. And it does change a lot. Like even yesterday when Devesh said, having sports activities. On board, you can't really have sports activities. The only thing you can really do is play ping pong at the maximum. And that's what I try to do. Encourage people, have tournaments. You have the welfare fund. Use that money to give them some incentive and say, okay, whoever wins gets this. So people do come up now and things are changing gradually. Thank you.
Wonderful. So my next question here is, what role do mentorship and leadership plays in ensuring seafarers stay motivated and committed to their careers? So my question goes to Captain Sujit Churi.
You repeat the question.
Yeah. Question here is, what role do mentorship and leadership play in ensuring seafarers stay motivated and committed to their careers?
Yeah. As being a sailing master's view, he mentioned that we are not trained. So when you are carrying a ship of 23 people with a different nationalities, one type of ship, people from different parts of India itself is also how different we are from a different culture. And to take them together and carry that team and achieve different targets like vetting inspections or third-party inspection or anything to make an voyage from A to B successfully, the mentorship and how to mentor is also required to be trained properly, because the human resources available and their mental health at certain times, their IQ at certain times, and their adaptation to the various situations. Some people are young, some people are old. So those things, if it is trained properly, there will be a different ball game on the ship, and the output, what you will get, will have a couple of knots added to the speed of the ship, which we can say in a shippy language. Just giving compensation or money or rewards doesn't help you. But certain times, many times, the emotional touch or a psychological push, like we have many companies with a shore-based support on various occasions in the middle of the oceans when somebody is sick at home or somebody died, but at the same time you cannot go back. So that patch of time between the middle of the ocean to the first port where you can get down successfully, your mental health, how it can be handled, how that can be monitored from shore. At the same time, the master or the people on board can handle that situation very nicely without he falling down or getting into depression. Because today with the social media available, we are getting impact so fast because we are accessible to the various situation in the second moment, and that causes a lot of mental trauma, at the same time depression, because you start thinking too much. Previously, the communication was not so fast, so the information used to come late, so the reaction was also late. But now in minutes, suddenly you get a message that he's not coming out of cabin because there's a message came from home. So how these bounces can be absorbed and taken care, a mentorship or a training is quite needed, so that you will get a factor which is feeling you soothing, that, okay, it's like a home here, not just professional. Surely help.
Yeah, we have a diverse workforce around seafarers, and these skills are really important, the leadership skills. But further, I would like to Captain Mohan Naik ji to elaborate on this.
Thank you, Neeta ma'am. Mentor and mentorship is a highly skilled operation. Of course, some people are born with it, but some people have to acquire it. What we do here is enroll all our officers, even the cadets, into the nautical institutes as a student member whenever they're recruited. The Nautical Institute itself has a program on mentorship. It's an excellent, well-known program, and it has been successful. What is happening nowadays, even after so much of training and mentorship, is we get feedback that the master or the chief officer or the chief engineer, sir, we don't have time to do any kind of mentorship. The ships are turning fast around. So, and what do they ask the TNO and TME to do? Is mostly paperwork. He works as a clerk on board instead of learning on the job, seamanship, or even little bit bridge watchkeeping. We had observed that these boys and girls, they are doing mostly clerical jobs. So they don't learn anything in their 1 year or 18 months that they are on board. In the end of the day, they come back with a certificate of competency. And then, they're not really fit enough to keep bridge watches or engine watches. So what we did in the few years back is to have an officer going along with the superintendent, going and checking whether actual mentorship is going on or not, and try to curb the mentality of the senior officers to, just give paperwork, which is now increasing day by day because of various reasons. All companies are having that pressure, not only one or two. So mentorship and leadership play a very big role, and that has to be monitored. However, as they say in Hindi, ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती है. So you require the mentor and the mentee both to be on the same page. Just one-sided, giving, and the other person is not taking, as Captain Chinna Riparaju had said earlier, that when you're imparting learning, the learner should also absorb it. It should not be a one-way street. So definitely mentorship plays a very important role, but it should be monitored and it should be carefully observed by the company. And if persons who are not doing that should be at least, given some kind of a training and ask them to do more and more mentorship. Thank you.
Thank you. So our top management on board, our captain, chief engineer, they have to be the role model there on board. My next question goes to Ms. Gurleen Kaur. What policies or incentives have successfully improved crew retention rates in leading shipping companies?
Thank you for the question. And I'm glad the others spoke before me because then I can talk about what we are doing at Maersk. But before answering the what, it's important to understand the why retention and why mental well-being. Over the years, retention is treated as a problem to solve rather than a responsibility to own. When people leave, the reality is they leave not just because of pay, because of the culture. Yes, the future is green fuels, automation, but people are equally important because they are the one who are going to sail. At Maersk, we don't believe in just having a reactive approach. We always like to go back to the grassroots level to, eradicate the issue. And while my other colleagues have already mentioned about what all things we do, and yes, we are also doing, but that's for the millennials who are already there. Let's not forget it's the Gen Z and Gel Alpha who are next coming. and who are very clear about their priorities, one being work-life balance, one being mental well-being. And that's where we decided to go back to school. Talking about MERS Center of Excellence, we have a dedicated representative who is based out of MERS Center of Excellence to ensure that the curriculum is not just making our cadets ready, tough, and resilient for the future, the qualities which are glorified in maritime industry, but also training them on soft skills to manage crisis situation on board. When a death happens on board or a accident, a lot can go within. And to train the cadets right from the beginning this is where we thought we should start, and exactly what we did when we launched our Equal at Sea initiative. We sensitized, we went back to school at the grassroots level, because that's where we can train the young minds that yes, it's important to be tough and resilient on board, but when there is a crisis situation, it's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to get the burnout feeling. And here, these are the tools and techniques how you can overcome it. So that's where we went to the school. Now, the education doesn't stop there. From there, the cadets joined the vessel, and that's where we launched our cadet culture program, where we are giving a clear roadmap to our cadets, mentorship program, study days leave, and a dedicated buddy, Ashore, who's talking to them and checking with them every day in, day out, or whenever they want. Yes, it's important to have apps, various other policies, but it's this personal touch that makes a lot of difference. And we at Maersk don't consider retention just as some policies. We believe we do this with purpose, because we understand how important it is to create a workspace that inspires loyalty, that's fostering leadership, to prioritize well-being, and ensuring that mental health is not just a box to check, but a responsibility to embrace. I was very happy when Captain Degama mentioned about the HR skills. And this is again a very proud moment to share that from the cadet, that's not where we stop. For our senior leadership on board, we have programs, a unique leadership program and Top 4 Talks podcast, which is ensuring that they are trained to lead with empathy, respect, foster teamwork, and embrace the people coming from different backgrounds. We are teaching them skills and tools and techniques, how they can give feedback in a constructive way, and how can they have a difficult conversation on board. Because as Karan mentioned yesterday, technical skills will be learned because it's mandated by regulations and vessel requirement. But it's the soft skills which are highly underrated, and that's what we are focusing at Maersk. Now, career progression is one thing. Coming to the mental well-being, because the seafarer looks for a complete package. And that's where we launched our mental wellness webinar, not just for our seafarers, but also their families. Customized, tailor-made sessions where seafarers have a safe space to talk about mental health. Uh, at Maersk, we never make fun of someone if they come up saying that I'm feeling anxious and I would like to sign off, because we truly understand that they can have those days. And that's where we have very, very good policies like Moments That Matter, where we are with our seafarers, not just in good times, but in toughest times. We also understand when something happens to a family ashore, a seafarer can go through a very, very tough time on board. And that's where our compassionate policy plays a very big role. While the seafarer takes time to come back home, we have a dedicated team member who's supporting the family till the time they reach. And these small, small gestures, they take a lot of time. We invest a lot of energy and resources. But at the end, when the seafarer writes us a thank you note, that makes our day. And that's what truly defines the Marine People team at Maersk. Now, Captain Churi also spoke about psychological support, and that's where we have tied up with one of the best telemedicine provider, where we are providing a psychological support, not just for onboard seafarers, but also the ones who are on leave. It's very important that when someone comes up saying that, hey, I'm not feeling well, we should provide them support when it's needed the most. And we've seen seafarers coming and appreciating about it. Talking about dedicated team to ensure that there's a direct connect with our vessels, we have a team who's trained to handle difficult conversation, and every seafarer who signs off gets an opportunity to speak to their respective marine people advisor, who will talk to them about their feedback, how was their experience on board. And the questions are curated in such a way that it captures the psychological safety aspect, and any red flag, mind you, any red flag is taken to the highest management in the team, and they are taking action over it. So it's these small things eventually that's helping Maersk to ensure that the seafarers are retained, and we are creating a space where they feel valued, heard, and supported.
Thank you, Gurleen. This is really true that salary and this is a hygiene factor, but there are a lot of motivational factors. So here, well-being is a very sensitive topic, and without that, it will be not right. On this stage, we have Captain Vijay Bilani. I have a question, Dr. Vijay Bilani. What proactive steps, a doctor here present will give us amazing insight. What proactive steps can be taken to address the mental health challenges of seafarers, particularly post-pandemic?
Thank you, Neetaji. Gurleen has very clearly elaborated. Thank you. Gurleen has very clearly elaborated uh, a very big protocol, how they look after their seafarers and their mental health. But in my practice, my observation, I feel that a seafarer has a mental trauma when he is not identified, he is not rewarded, not recognized to the point of being rejected. You have said a sense of belonging. Captain Churi talked of creating a home-like environment. Gurleen has gone much further. So these are some of the things which we could all assimilate, take the best practices and put it together. Social media is a double-edged sword. I think that has a lot to contribute to mental health in seafarers. Most of them retreat into their own cabins. On social media, interacting, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, and whatever. I have a 14-day sailing time in my career, much less than anyone here on the dais. There were 52 people on board. And during free time, there was a smoke room, there was a mess room. People were there. One of the chief engineers showing magic tricks. So there was a lot of intermingling, interpersonal relationships. If anybody did behave abnormally, it was very easily picked up. Today, that is not the case. Automation, there's no time to mingle, there's no time for leisure, I feel. Please correct me if I'm wrong. There's no time for leisure on board, I presume. There are people who say when we leave Rotterdam and we are approaching Amsterdam, it's like there's no time to even rest. It's documentation, and there's a lot of load of work. There are a lot of expectations, I guess, because if there were 52 at that time and there are 22 and 23 now, with automation, in spite or despite the automation, I think there's a lot of load of work, pressure work. And another aspect that Gurleen also touched, and I would say, is that at a time when there's a medical condition at home and a seafarer cannot reach home, he feels alienated. And definitely, if he cannot participate at the time of the last rituals, at the time of bereavement, these are major traumas, mental traumas, and we need to cushion them somehow. Gurleen has created a cocoon for some of the seafarers during the time of bereavement. That's wonderful. But these are some of the measures. There is a familial inclination to mental health. So it's not easy to identify or eliminate who would be a potential seafarer with mental health. Those in remission or under treatment, also when they undergo these psychometric tests, may not always give us a true picture. And most of the times I've seen seafarers taking psychometric testing very, very lightly. One of them told us that he had no time, and while coming to our office, he was filling up the questionnaire in the auto. So this is something that the management can take up with the seafarers to take the questionnaire for psychometric testing seriously. So at least we can eliminate those with a high risk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I have here one question to Captain Niranjan. Are current mental health initiatives sufficient, or do we need a more structural global approach? This question goes to you. Yes.
Thanks, Neeta ma'am, again. Yes, I would say we need a little more structured global approach. Like I said earlier, having multinational crew, and even when Captain said that even on board with only Indians, with the different parts of India, there is a difficulty in people speaking up. So the approach needs to be a little bit more structured. People should be able to come up and say, yes, I am having a problem. They should be able to pick up their phones, because there are a lot of app-based services from many companies which say you can connect with us anytime you want. But how many people are coming up? How many people are really saying, I need help? Zero. I can surely say that zero. Deaths on board create a bigger hassle. You have a death on board and everybody is traumatized. How are people dealing with it? Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody is scared. So probably a little bit more structured approach globally, which will help people to come up and say, yes, I need help. That's one of the priorities that we need to look at. Thank you.
Thank you. I know that we are running short of time, but this question is very important. And I would like Captain Dinesh Jairamji, please answer this question, which is, I think everybody will love to hear. How can technology, example, telemedicine, virtual wellness program, help support seafarers' well-being?
Thank you, ma'am. So, telemedicine, especially for seafarers, since the ship is on a voyage and, there's not much alternative they have other than talking to a doctor firsthand. So I think it's great where the seafarer can connect directly to a specialist in whatever field they are and get a response as by way of medication, diagnosis, and some treatment till it reaches the port. So telemedicine, I think, is very good and evolving for the voyage part, till the ship gets into port. Then, of course, you can see a doctor. So another question you had, just one, telemedicine?
Telemedicine, yeah, that was one question. And about help support seafarers' well-being, how it is. So the answer is very clear.
Yeah. So various companies have different organizations with whom they tie up. Like, for example, we have the Sailor Society at London. So if anybody feels down, they have the helpline, and they don't need to inform anybody on the ship. They can directly call them. They have experts who can talk to them and give them counseling. Same way, we have tied up with 3Cube based in Singapore. They do similar. They have 3 psychologists, psychiatrists, plus counseling staff that are there to help the people. So all these initiatives, and I think also ISWAN, there where people can reach out, and these are all great initiatives for seafarers. Thank you, ma'am.
And today we are running short of time, a number of times I'm telling you, but this question is very important. And I would like Dr. Vijay J. Belani to say, how can the industry encourage a cultural shift towards openly discussing mental health without stigma? This is very important and sensitive
Thank
too.
you, madam. You've already emphasized the phrase stigma, which I was going to say, as Gurleen said, we encourage people to say, even if they say they're anxious, they should come forward. But it's not easy. I would say it has a stigma as bad as leprosy or tuberculosis even today. So it has to have a cultural shift right from the time that cadets are training, training institutes, that mental health is as important as physical, and one can come up to a doctor as freely as for physical complaints. If they're feeling anything mentally depressed, mentally out of frame, not able to adjust, maladjustments, whatever, please come up to the doctor immediately and let it not linger and become a big problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for the wonderful insight. And any questions from the audience, please? No, we don't have time. So just we close. Let us continue to invest in knowledge, technology, training to shape an industry that respects both the ocean and those who navigate them. Together, we can build a future where sustainability and empowerment goes hand in hand. Thank you very, very much, everyone. A big round of applause, and thank you to our eminent panelists today. Thank you. Oh, we have one question here.
Thank you. Neetaji, you spoke about the recent survey stating 30% of the seafarers plan to take up shore assignments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to add one major step that can change the tide of attrition to shore assignments.
Yes.
It is protect seafarers from criminalization.
Yes.
We need to use all international forums to speak on this issue and raise awareness in this world community. And surely also as that.
As well.
Anybody from the board, I mean, from the forum, if they want to comment further on it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also, from the human element, just 1 second, we should stop thinking about who failed and where we failed in the system. Start thinking in that direction. A lot of things will change. We conveniently blame the crew for everything that happens on board.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
One thing is very important. Seafarers are the one who runs the business and they run the propeller. So it's very important for all of us. We all know. Sorry.
Yes, I
Thank you.
request our dignitaries to please stay back. And on stage, I would like to call Captain Basin, MD, MSc, Ship Management, along with Ms. Ritu Chaudhary from Enmarol Chemicals, along with Mukherjee sir. Can I ask you to please come up on stage? It's time to felicitate our speakers.
This felicitation is being sponsored by Manage.
Thank you so much to all our dignitaries for giving us such a lovely insight about this amazing topic. Well, a big thank you to all our dignitaries up on stage here. Well, meanwhile, just a gentle reminder, we are streaming live and you can all watch the live event on Naval Connection Vlogs. You can now share the link to your family and friends and watch the event live that side. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, before we break for the lunch, Mr. Mr. Mukherjee sir would like to take over.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, a company called Immersive Pawan, can I have the stage here? Just a 2-minute session, Pawan, to understand what he's doing, how much value we bring, because we have owners and the managers here. So just in 2 minutes, something very unique that he's doing. And after that, we'll break for lunch, be back here. Lots of things to come. Pawan, I personally have not done any homework for you. We got a startup. You want a microphone? What is it? You got a startup? Tell us very elevator pitch. Like, what do you do? I mean, what does immersive? Settle down. Gentlemen, turn, sit down.
We are a startup with a vision to innovate and automate service sector. So right now we have seen an area where service engineers or the service technicians, there is no visibility over how to arrange or how they are being trained or whether they have all the certifications available or not. So what we are trying to do here is improve a service quality by having a technology edge. So the owners and managers can have very easily access to know which technician, whether he's trained to go on board and do the services or not, or maybe we can help them analyze before any breakdown.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. What is your product?
So product is we have, right now we started with bridge equipments.
Okay.
So we have bridge plus dry dock and inspection plus as in tool, which do preventive maintenance instead of having a breakdown maintenance. So we analyze all these equipments before, and suppose a vessel is going for dry dock, we do a pre-inspection before and give all the analysis.
So you sail on board with the people and do this pre-inspection?
We send a technician, trained
the
technician
port.
before, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's immersive. Very short.
Yeah.
Very short. And he will be reaching out to all of you separately. And all the best to you, Pawan.
Thank you so much.
Next time we do an event, we'll have more of you.
Thank you.
And
thank
hopefully
you.
you
Thanks.
get much more business than.
Sure. Thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Gentlemen, we now break for lunch. We come back and we come back exactly at 2:30. 2:30, lunch is served. Please let's come back and let's finish the day so that we can start on time and we can finish on time to be in time for the coaches. All the best. Bon appetit. Hello.